What's up, everybody? This is Ross Clock 222 representing the MOBC, my own boxing community. My own boxing community. There's no one like it. The MOBC, the king of the YTBC. So I want to talk about fantasy matchups real quick. And I think if you didn't watch my last video, I did a fantasy matchup on Urslander Laura versus George Benton. And it was a quick video, very brief. I didn't want to like break down the ring size. I didn't want to break down the referees, the weight, and the times, none of that. But if we're gonna talk about old school versus new school boxing, right? How can we make it an even playing field? In other words, how can we make it fair? For example, is it fair to place a past fighter from, let's say, the 40s and the 50s and automatically put him into today's modern day style with his past fighting style, right? So basically, if I'm gonna put Sugar Ray Robinson at 147, would I place Sugar Ray Robinson at 147 in 2018, him being the fighter on the same day weigh-in level and only weighing 147 while he's fighting, let's say, Keith Thurman, who gets to balloon up to 160 on fight night? You get what I'm saying? Like, where do we place it? Just like, do I put Earl Spence Jr. at 147 with today's standards in the past to go against Carmen Basilio at 147? Where do we go to make it an even playing field? Like, I'll give you a perfect example. Would it be fair for me to put would it be fair for me to put Paulie Malignaggi in the ring at 147 to fight Carmen Basilio back then in a smaller ring where he's not going to be able to have that much room to dance around and box and pot shot, where there's going to be a referee in there that's not going to care about Carmen Basilio in there trying to maul him, in there fighting him dirty, in there breaking the rules of boxing? How can we make it an even playing field? Right? If we was to put Ezra Charles in today's standards, do you know how big he would be at 175 when he gets to balloon up, when he gets to rehydrate? See, the thing is, there seems to be this myth where it's more healthy now. That's why they rehydrate. I hear this all the time. That's the reason why they rehydrate, because it's healthy. No, the reason why they rehydrate the way they do, and the reason why they have a nutritionist and a personal trainer watching their weight, is because they're fighting at a weight class that they should not be fighting in. Ezra Charles at 175 probably walked around at like 185. 183 or something like that, right? Carmen Basilio probably walked around at like 155. This is why Floyd Mayweather Jr. was able to maintain a certain weight, because he's not having to lose so much weight compared to the other guys and then balloon up so much weight because of it being healthier, of it being safer. Right? Am I making any sense right now? If you are fighting closer to your weight class, you should not have to worry about rehydration. Period. That's just how it works. If Errol Spence Jr., a perfect example, he started out at 154. So at that time, what was his walk around weight And then to get down at 154, now he's getting down to 147. And then he balloons back up on fight night to a higher weight class. Canelo, all these guys. That's why when we talk about fantasy fights, when I do, I always make sure that when I put Gennady Golovkin versus Carlos Monzon, I want it to be a same-day weigh-in. So that on fight night, they're going to be 1 or 2 pounds, 2 or 3 pounds, either heavier or sometimes even lighter than the opponent. So that's what I'm saying. It's just like talking about the heavyweights. If we're going to put Muhammad Ali against one of these big heavyweights, where do we cross the line at? Do we say, okay, we're going to put Muhammad Ali versus Big Baby Miller, but this is going to be the same Muhammad Ali, except he's going to be 240 pounds? Or is it fair to just put the 208-pound Muhammad Ali versus Anthony Joshua, who's going to weigh 250 pounds, even though I still think Ali schools him? I'm just saying. So if I put AJ to the heavyweights of yesterday, you would have to assume that if AJ was born in those times, then he would be a smaller heavyweight. Technically, he wouldn't be as big as he is. But I still think, even though with the size and the muscles and all that, I still think so many past heavyweights will beat him. But that's a whole nother story. But what I'm saying is, how can we make it an even playing field? Can you imagine if we put Terrence Crawford in the ring with Aaron Pryor in the 18-foot square inch ring? Where is Terrence Crawford going to go? Where is he going to run to? Aaron Pryor is going to be all over this guy. Pause. I mean, he's just going to beat the shit out of Terrence Crawford. And all my old heads know this. I mean, Aaron Pryor will beat the shit out of Terrence Crawford. Now imagine it being a same-day weigh-in, where now Terrence Crawford is really in there weighing 140, give or take, gaining a few pounds from drinking water and maybe eating breakfast or something light or whatever, right? So he'd probably about 144 or something like that. What's going to happen? What would happen if Sugar Ray Leonard at 5'11", 74-inch reach, how big would he be if he get to rehydrate in today's standards? He's huge. He'd be huge. He'd be a super middleweight. You guys would call him a weight bully. So how do we keep it fair? And when we're talking about old school boxing, is there a way to make it an even playing field? Or do we place the old fighter in today's standards, and then we talk about the modern fighter going into the past fighter standards? Past fighters had to fight smaller rings. Past fighters had to fight with shady referees, with shady judges, with shady promoters. I mean, real shady promoters, right? Boxing ran by the mob. Cheaters. You think fighters cheat today? What about the fighters of the past? It's a whole nother level of cheating back then. You think Maidana and Ricky Hatton is a dirty fighter, and you think Andre Ward is a dirty fighter? Have you ever seen Carmen Basilio in there? You want to talk about dirty? Rocky Marciano? Talk about dirt like a dirty fighter? Huh? This is what I'm saying. Like, how can we make it an even playing field when we're talking about the modern fighter versus the past fighter. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments below. This is Ross Clot 222 representing the MOBC.